Welcome into Other People's Shoes. I'm your host, Neil, and today I get the privilege of sitting down with Jose Ibarra. Now, I've known Jose a little while now, and I gotta tell you, this man is an inspiration. Not only is he a DJ, he's an AdvoCare distributor, but he is motivation in his pores. That's right. He's really good. He's got some great insight today that he's going to help you get out of that start and stop cycle that you've been stuck in. You ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
Hey, come take a walk with me. Not like you used to do. Do something different and put yourself in other people's shoes. Open up your mind and open up your eyes and change your direction, change your perspective.
Welcome into Other People's Shoes. I am your host, Neil, and I get the privilege of talking with a guy I've known for a while now, a guy that, I wouldn't even say, we're friends, but I would almost put us in the acquaintance category. And the reason why I say that is because, sometimes when you have a podcast and you have things like this, you get all your friends together, right? And you're like, hey, be on my show. It's going to be fun. I need listenership. This guy in particular, I'm going to let him introduce himself in just a sec, but I like the fact that we're not crossing paths enough ahead of time. We're not running in the same circles. We're not. You did take me to a CrossFit class one time that I did cry at afterwards, but we'll get to that too. Welcome in my guest, Jose. And Jose, I was actually going to try to say your last name, but I'm like, I'm not even going to try. So if you want to give it, you don't have to. I purposely don't give my last name. Of course, you can find me in the show notes. But anyway, Jose, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me, Neil. Like you said, I haven't talked to you in a few months. I see you on Facebook from time to time. You run your races, and I like watching you on that. But no, Jose Ibarra is my name. We used to work together, but yeah, it's been a while. And how you been? You just messaged me 2 days ago.
I did. I love Messenger, and I hate Messenger. I hate group messages.
Yes.
This is my little pet peeve of the day, but I don't like group text messages. I don't know why that came up, but it is. So here we are. But Jose, we're going to talk about something that I wanted to share with you first, and that's why I'm glad we are recording. Okay, so Salt Light, want to make sure of that first. So one thing that I will say, when we worked together, you were, and I don't want to fluff your head up too much on this, but you were kind of an inspiration to me, right? You have this great story. You're a big proponent, big advocate. No play on words there. But you're a big proponent of AdvoCare. You're an AdvoCare. What are you called exactly?
I'm an independent distributor of AdvoCare.
Independent distributor of AdvoCare. Now, I personally have used AdvoCare. I did the 40-day challenge. Isn't that right? That's
24 days.
24-day challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I did that a while back with my wife. I did see some things. And before you immediately shut off and you're like, oh, this is an AdvoCare announcement. Like, he's here to... No, that's not why Jose came on. Jose came on because, for me...
I don't even know why I'm here yet.
Yeah, exactly. For me, you kind of were a little bit of an inspiration. As he mentioned, I've been a runner for about 8 years now. But you've kind of been a little bit of an inspiration because you have this kind of crazy story, really, of how you were and how you are now. And I feel like you're the best person, at least in my mind, when I think of people, when we talk about this topic of somebody to aspire or somebody that's inspiring us, perhaps. Buddy, you've kind of been that guy for me.
Well, and I got to say that's awesome to hear. It's very humbling, and that's my goal every day, is to just try to inspire and encourage people to step out of their comfort zone. Because here I was a little over 3 years ago, 40 pounds heavier, and I was just miserable. I was a single dad going through a divorce, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was trying to raise my kids the best I could, but I was exhausted. And I was feeding them fast food and pizza because it was convenient. I was parenting from the couch. And one day my daughter came up to me and said, Dad, I want to go to the park. And before I could even answer her, she looked at me and said, never mind, Dad, you're too tired. Talk about a shot in the heart. That hurt. And it was deep. And so I looked at my little girl, who at the time was 5 years old. And my friend Stephanie had talked to me about AdvoCare and about getting healthy. And fast forward 4 months later, I was down 40 pounds. Eventually was contacted to be actually in their Impact magazine, which is put out twice a year. They flew me to Dallas. It was a great thing. But, fast forward to now, I'm eating healthier. I'm more active with my children, and I'm always looking at ways to better myself from the inside out, not just with my health and wellness, but reading books, listening to podcasts, and just becoming a better version of me for them. So now I get to watch my kids push themselves. My son the other day in basketball, yesterday, he had basketball practice, and we had a talk beforehand, and my kid surprised me. And he went out there, and he was giving it everything he had, and I could see the look on his face. It hurt. He was in pain, but he did it. He knew that he had to give everything he had, because that's what we teach. You don't get better without pain. There's no growth. So it's been fantastic. That's my short version.
I love that, and I think that's what for me set you apart. At least in my mind, is one of those people that I'm like, you know what? There's something just different about this guy. There's something intriguing about this guy. And again, Jose and I worked together maybe 6 months, maybe
that before I left.
And we didn't have a lot of interaction together. I mean, we just did different tasks at our jobs. But I wanted to share that with you. I never had an opportunity to share that with you before you left, that's not a text conversation. Hey, dude, you inspire me. That's not an instant message conversation. That's a face to face. So, by the way, aspire is defined as this: desire, hope for, dream of, long for, yearn for, set one's heart on, wish for, and want. Knowing that is the definition, how do you feel like that fits into your life?
For me, I just aspire to be a better version of myself every day, in not only my personal life, but my professional life, as a dad, as a boyfriend, just as a friend in general, really. I like to encourage other people. Because of my story, and I've been able to share with other people, I've been able to help a lot of people change their life, whether it be lose a little bit of weight or just change their thinking and kind of turn them on to podcasts and books to where they challenge themselves so they're not sitting in front of the TV all day. They're doing things that are going to add value to their life, not just, meaningless stuff that most people do on a day-to-day basis. So we got rid of TV in our house. Yeah, I've got Hulu that I watch some TV from time to time, but mostly we try to read books. My kids are both avid readers. Me, not so much, but I try to be, just because I know how much it's helped me become a reader. The Four Agreements was one that really changed how I think on things. Also, the Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, that was a huge impact on me as well. And any of his books really have been fantastic. So if anyone has any recommendations, I'd love to hear them.
Absolutely. Likewise. So why do you think people struggle so much with this whole idea of aspiring to be something? Why do you think that is in your experience and those that you've maybe interacted with? Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of people they just don't have a purpose. They don't know what their purpose is. We go through life being taught, you go to school, you get good grades, get a good job after you go to college, take one vacation a year. It's pretty much set in stone for us, and no one talks to you about dreaming anymore. As a kid, you tell your mom, I want to be this, I want to be that, and your dad, and they'll tell you, you can be anything you want to be. But as you get older, somewhere along the way, they say, you need to be realistic, you need to start doing this, and they start putting caps on us. So my goal is to be able to take and lift the lid, so to speak, and let people, start dreaming again and painting vision for people, whether it be with their health and wellness, whether it be, going after a job that they maybe want, that they maybe don't feel that they're qualified for. And I've gotten many jobs that I wasn't necessarily the best qualified for, but because I had the most heart, I guess, or maybe because I worked a little bit harder than the next person. Because hard work will beat talent every day of the week. That's all it comes down to. And so it wasn't until I found my purpose that I started making some changes, and that was my children. And I didn't realize it right away, but that's what it was to be there for them. And I was lacking. I was a horrible father. They might say that I was a good dad, and I was present, but I wasn't really, and I was there physically, but I wasn't present in the moment. And that's what's really changed for me.
So I know you kind of alluded to this already when you were talking about your daughter and going to the park, but maybe that was it. What was the breaking point for you that you were like, you know what, enough's enough, I've had enough, something's got to give, something's got to change, I got to do something here. Maybe that's what it was already with your daughter, maybe it wasn't.
That definitely was the breaking point for me. Just the look on her face, Neil, I'll never forget it. And you can ask her now 3 years later, and she remembers it like it was yesterday. And she remembers making me cry, and she felt bad. She's like, I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't mean to make you cry. I said, baby, you didn't do anything wrong. I said, but Daddy, Daddy wants to change himself. Because growing up, I was the type of person from the day I can remember, I couldn't wait to turn 18, and start a family. And I always wanted to be a dad because I love kids, and I like to be able to interact with children and just I'm a kid myself, a kid at heart, really.
I think we all are, in some respects.
And some of us are just afraid to show it, I guess.
Yeah,
but no, I love kids, and I wanted to be a dad so bad. And I used to always say, when I'm a dad, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take my kids to the park. I'm gonna coach their teams. And I had all these goals and all these great things I want to do as a parent. But then when I looked at it, I wasn't doing any of those things. So now, again, fast forward several years later, I'm still not the best parent. I still make mistakes, but I try every single day to be present in the moment with my children.
That's great. So I did a little research. So success.com has 5 ways to become the person you aspire to be. Now, I don't know anything about success.com. I really have no idea. That was just literally a Google search. But one of the things it was being authentic. Why do you think being authentic is so important?
Because if you're not genuine and authentic, people aren't going to relate to you. One of the things that I had a hard time with in the beginning was I'm a perfectionist. Or I used to be anyway. Still sometimes. But I made it so hard for people to relate to me because everything had to be perfect, and so people figured that I expected them to be perfect when that's not the case. I just want people to give their best effort, So you have to be relatable, you have to be genuine, and authentic, because if you're not, people can pick up on that, And people, honestly, they don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care.
That's a good line too. The other thing they said is having a vision. Why do you think having a vision is so important, not only to fitness, but to weight loss, but just in life in general? Why do you think that's so important to have a vision?
Without vision, and what are you going after? You have to have something that you're trying to attain, And so many people they'll set short-term goals, and they live in the moment, but they're not looking, 1 year down the road, 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, and that's where you really have to start thinking about things because, if you don't make changes now, and where's your life going to be in 5 years if you continue to do the things you're doing today? So every day, just keep working toward that goal and write them down. If you don't write them down, you don't have something to look at. I've got a whiteboard at my house, which I need to put up in the new house, actually, that has my goals written down, short-term and long-term, and something you can look at every single day. When it's written down and you see it every day, you're more likely to work toward it.
So this is a quote from Helen Keller. So it says, the only thing worse than being blind is having sight, but no vision.
Right. And we can see, and me and you can see.
Correct.
We've got good vision.
Right.
As long as we wear our glasses, I guess.
That's true.
No, but yeah, you're right. Without vision, and what are you living for? And so many people they're here, they exist. They're not really living. They're not living the life that they were meant to live. I don't know, but I know that you're very religious, as am I. I feel like God put us here for a reason, not just settle. We're not here just to live a normal life. He wants us to live an extraordinary life, one of abundance and have some sort of meaning behind it, And you may not know what that is now if you're listening, but find out what you're passionate about. Find out what gets you excited, and do that.
I think this just builds into what you're saying. If we're looking at it as a music, it's just crescendoing, right? So
sure.
Embrace a never give up attitude. Why is that so essential as well?
Because too many people give up too easily. If you look at the successful people in the world, and one of the best quotes that I like, you're wearing your North Carolina, so Jordan.
I do.
What does Jordan always say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you're not taking shots, you're gonna fail every single time. But then if you look at people who are successful, and they're not going to tell you about their failures, they're going to tell you how many times they learned how to not do something. So many people give up when it gets hard. They have one failure, but that's how you learn, that's how you grow. Just like with your muscles, if you're not working out, if you're not breaking down those muscles for them to rebuild, just like if you're not failing, you're not growing. It works the same way, and with so many aspects of life. That, if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. I just posted that the other day, actually. It's one of my favorite quotes. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you.
I like it. Again, just building on this, remove the naysayers and the self-doubt. Why is self-doubt so destructive, in your opinion?
So many of us have it. And I still have self-doubt from time to time, but then as soon as I realize that I have it or I recognize it, I try to remove it. But there's so many people, we doubt ourselves. I was listening to Fearless Motivation. They're on iTunes and Spotify. I love them. They're great. I was listening to it in the shower this morning, and one of the things they said that really stuck out, and I think it's perfect for today's topic, really, and it wasn't planned that way, but they said, who could you become if you never gave up on yourself?
So say that again.
Who would you become if you never gave up on yourself?
That's deep.
Right?
Yeah.
So many of us give up on ourselves. They say, well, I can't do it. I look at my friends that are successful. If they can do it, why can't I? I have the same opportunities that they have, so why not? It's just removing that doubt, and then the people, like you said, the naysayers, so many people will give advice based on something they know nothing about. That would be like me saying, hey, Neil, you should listen to my broke Uncle Bob for financial advice. Not going to work.
But why is it we do that as a society, right? So here's the thing here's the thing that always intrigues me, right? And I don't have anybody in mind. Like I'm not visualizing anybody here, but I was at a gym for a while. Was a gym member, not anymore. But I remember going to the gym one time, and my wife probably made me take a fitness class of some sort. And again, the gal doing the fitness class again, and ladies, don't send me hate mail, but I'm not judging here. But she was not fit. She was not fit, and maybe she was working on it and she was getting there. But I just I just think I have this envision. If you're gonna provide solid advice on something, I just feel like you gotta come from a point of having some expertness to it.
Well, and I'm glad you bring that up, because I was actually talking to a gentleman, Chris, the other day. We're going to jumpstart his healthier lifestyle. I'm excited to get him started. He's got a big goal. But I was talking to him about a friend that we helped. We actually helped her lose 100 pounds. And she's actually a fitness instructor now.
Wow.
But she started while she was still in her weight loss journey.
Okay.
So this person, they may not look fit.
Sure.
But they're working toward it.
Right.
So where can they be 6 months from now?
Right. And again, that's on me. I was judging. I'm just going to raise my hand.
Well, but but see, and here's the thing with society is we don't always know the other person's story.
Right.
I'm guilty of judging.
So what
too.
you're trying to tell me is we're not really putting ourselves in other people's shoes?
Not always.
Self-plug there.
Yeah. That's a great plug. No, it's a great name. I love it.
Thank
I really
you.
do.
Other people's shoes. That is why I came to that. So the last one on this, again, success.com, 5 ways to become a person you aspire to be. The last one, which really I think should have been the first one, but I didn't make the list, but here it is. Believe in yourself. Why is belief in yourself so important?
Because if you don't believe in yourself, then who else is going to believe in you?
Exactly.
And how can you expect people to follow you or to want to be around you if you don't believe in yourself?
Couldn't agree more. So this is a fun one. When I wrote this, I'm like, man, I'm so excited. I want to see how you're going to answer this.
Boy.
This one might be my favorite of the questions
nervous,
that we
Neil.
have. Yeah. So here we go. What would you consider yourself someone others should aspire to be like?
No.
I didn't want to use role model, but I guess that's what I'm asking. I mean, would you hope? There's a great quote that I heard a long time ago, and it does come from the Bible, so
sure.
Hold on. Paul actually says, imitate me as I also imitate Christ.
Sure.
And to me, every time I read that, I'm like, oh, that's such a bold statement. And so I ask you, would you hope somebody says, maybe in reverse of that or in exchange of that, imitate Jose as Jose imitates, you know?
I don't know that I would want someone to necessarily aspire to be me, because there's only one of me and there's only one of you. Everyone's different. Everyone's story is different. One of the things that I saw, I think it was Matthew McConaughey was doing a speech, and he talks about becoming, a better version of himself. Like, who's his hero? Him 5 years from now is his hero. So for me, my hero is who I can be in 5 years. So that really resonated with me. So do I want people to aspire to be me? No. To be like me? Maybe. If they can work on becoming a better person day in and day out, great, do that. But aspire to be the best version of yourself. Because when we start trying to compare ourselves to others, like the saying goes, comparison is a thief of all joy. So why compare yourself to others? Be the best version of you. That's my opinion on that.
Well, and I think you kind of answered this. Why should someone not try to be like someone else?
Because everybody's different.
Right.
I mean, there are some, for example, when I sold cars, speaking of where we used to work together.
Yeah.
Will
remain nameless.
Yeah. Well, I sold cars, and if I tried to talk to customers the way my friend Derek talked to customers, they would tell me to kick rocks and go to you-know-where.
Yeah.
It's just his personality was different.
Right.
And so take the people that are more like you in your personality, and then maybe take things that they've taught you and learn from them, but you can't be just like them. Now, I've been a DJ for 15 years. The guy that I learned from, if I did things just the way that he did it, with his personality, it may not work. Now, I took the things that did work, and I put my personality into it and twist into it, and 15 years later, I'm very successful in this valley as a DJ, but if I would have tried to be just like him, I think I would have failed. So you have to kind of fine-tune it and be you, because it's more, like we talked about earlier, more authentic, more genuine.
So you're an Oregon fan, Oregon Ducks fan.
Yes,
I think you are, at least.
Yes, I am. They play today at 7:30.
I'm not raising my hand to that one. I'll leave that one alone. But I do know that Chip Kelly had a saying with Oregon, and it kind of has changed over the years since Chip Kelly's been gone. Sports reference here, so indulge me for a moment. But Oregon had this big thing, WTD, which stands for, do you know?
Win the day.
Win the day. Why do you think that is a mantra maybe people should adopt?
Because if you can win the day every single day, it could be a small victory. Just, it doesn't have to be anything huge, at least in my opinion. Make your bed first thing in the morning. Me and my girlfriend, I didn't do it today. It's a weekend. But almost every day we make our bed. And even if that's the only victory you've had all day, at least you started out with a victory, so it's easier to go about your day and not feel so defeated, I guess. But just try to win at life. Just don't look at the negatives. Focus on the positives. Because so many people are so negative about everything. But if you look at the negatives they had in their day, they might have had 1 or 2. But positive, they might have had 20. But it's so easy to focus on that negative. Just turn that around. Win the day. Look at the things that you accomplished and be grateful for those things, and focus on those. Because people aren't going to remember the bad things forever. They'll remember the good things about you. I hope.
That is the hope, right?
Right.
What challenges you to keep going? I mean, you've been on this journey how long now?
A little over 3 years.
So there's been some highs, I'm guessing.
Oh, there's always peaks and valleys,
Yep.
as I like to reference it.
Yeah, absolutely. But what keeps you going?
What keeps me going is my children, obviously, and that's pretty a generic answer, but that's true. My children, and being able to lead by example, but then also the people that I have helped along the way. If I give up, I'm giving up on them as well. So not only do I give up on myself and my children, I give up on them. So I got to keep pushing, because I made a commitment not only to myself, but along the way I met people, I committed to them. So if I quit, then I'm quitting on more than just me. And that's very selfish in my opinion.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to play a game here in a little bit, just to give you a little preview of that to hold on for. It's going to be fun. You'll love it.
Again, you're making me nervous, Neil.
I promise you'll love it. Advice you would give to help somebody to aspire to greatness. What advice would you give?
Find out the people that are successful in the area that you want to be successful and model them. Do the things that they do. Take advice from people who have what you want, because that's how you're going to accomplish it. You're not going to get anywhere by listening to people who have no experience in that. So, model them, be positive, listen to podcasts, read books, focus on becoming a better version of yourself every day. And I allude to that often, but that's true. If you're not a better version of yourself, then you can't get better. So, yeah, podcasts are fantastic. I know of a great one. It's called In Their Shoes.
Other people's shoes? Yeah,
other people's shoes.
That's a good one. Yeah,
you
could listen to that one and subscribe
That's a
to
good
one.
Yeah. I'm sorry I got the name wrong, but I had
okay.
heard of it today for the first time.
That's okay.
But it's gonna be my new one that I listen to on a regular basis.
Nice.
But, no, podcasts are great. Reading books, and just motivational stuff. And it's one thing to read the books, but you also have to take action. If you're reading books and they're suggesting to do this, that, and the other, do it. Don't just read it. Oh, that's so great, I'm inspired, but then take no action, because then you don't get anywhere.
It's true.
It's kind of funny how a lot of people do that. I've been guilty, but there's been months where I'm like, man, nothing's happening in my business. What is going on? I'm like, well, I'm reading the books, but I'm not taking action. Then I start taking action. Next thing I know, things are looking good again.
So we'll close with that, but I want to give you an opportunity here, Jose. You've given us a lot to think about. First off, so thank you for giving up your Saturday. It's gorgeous out here in the Rogue Valley, but
we're outside right now.
We are
guys.
outside right now.
It's great. Technology.
Two times in a row we've been outside and we've had great weather. So, but I want to give you an opportunity here. If someone was inspired by what you said today, and they're like, you know what? Maybe I want to look into what Jose's doing that's so revolutionary, that's changing his life, not only your lives but other lives around you. How could someone reach out to you to do that?
I recently started a new page on Facebook to encourage, motivate, and it's also on Instagram. If you look for the username Live Life Committed, you'll find me there.
Okay.
That's on
Live
Instagram.
Life Committed.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason that I picked the name Live Life Committed is if you live your life committed to bettering yourself every single day, which is what I've done, then you'll see your life improve, in my opinion. That's what I've always done since I started this journey. And so that's why I chose the name. So facebook.com/livelifecommitted, username on Instagram, Live Life Committed. You'll find me there. And I try to post, a couple times a week, just things to make you think, try to motivate you. The one that I posted most recently was, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. So kind of give you an idea of that.
Okay.
Or the one that got the most likes without me actually trying to boost it with, the Facebook ads and whatnot,
right,
is wake up every morning. What was it? Wake up every morning and become the best version of yourself, or something along those lines. I have a lot of them. I'm on the spot right now, so
that's okay.
It's not there.
That's all right. Well, the reason why I ask is because I know there are things in our lives, and there are sometimes things that we come across that I think could benefit others. And so, Jose didn't come on. He didn't pay me anything to come on and promote this. This was strictly my invitation. So I want that as the disclaimer. But I also want it to be known that if you are interested, if you are in that struggle of life, like most of us maybe are, that we need a little extra pep in our step, that if we need that person to kind of walk alongside of us, I think Jose is a great resource for that. You have the quote, I'm guessing.
Yes, I was looking up the quote while you were on that last part. Is Wake up each day committed to becoming the very best version of yourself. Now, I came up with that. It wasn't something I found somewhere. Like, some of them I find online, and I use those.
Sure.
But that one is one that I found because we talked about Live Life Committed, so I wanted to come up with something on my own for my very first post, and it was wake up each day committed to becoming the very best version of yourself.
That's awesome. Okay, so Jose, here's our game. In this little cup here, you're pretty easy to spot the cup. It's
bright blue.
Bright light blue. And so we're going to play a game. So you're going to roll the dice in here. It's kind of like Yahtzee. And when you come up with the number, I will tell you what you have to answer. Okay. So this is a game I like to call Senseless, because it's kind of a senseless game, and so that might give you a little hint of what the game's about. So, yep, there we go. Ready to roll? Here we go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Got
2.
number 2. Ooh, that's a good one. Who is touching your life right now?
Right now, who's touching my life?
Yeah, because, it's like the senses. So
there you go. I gotcha.
Yeah. I always have to explain the game, which kind of is weird. But anyway, yes, that's
who's touching my life right now. And, it's funny because it's actually his birthday. So the spring of '89, I actually met a gentleman, or a kid at the time, now a gentleman, by the name of Jeff. Jeff's been one of my best friends since then. It's been coming up on 30 years this spring. Oh, boy. It's a long time. No,
yeah.
But I don't talk to Jeff every day, but he's always that guy that I aspire to be like. It's been that way our whole childhood, our whole life, really, because we're so much alike in so many ways, but I always feel like I'm one step behind, and he's always touching my life. He left me a voicemail, actually, a few weeks ago that said, I was taking a class I never really told you, but I just want you to know, and I want you to hear it from me. I know that you know this, but I'm grateful to have you in my life. And to have those types of friends that just randomly reach out, just see how you're doing, or hey, I saw this and I thought of you. It's fantastic. It's his birthday today, so I want to give a shout out to my buddy Jeff. Hope he gets a chance to listen to this. But yeah. he touches my life almost every day.
Well, that's awesome. Any last things you want to add before we kind of wrap it up?
The only thing I want to add is I don't think I've ever seen you in anything other than light blue. Just saying, you got it everywhere.
I do. The last episode I shot actually in a Buzz Lightyear costume.
Must have been around Halloween.
It was around Halloween.
That is hilarious.
So you mentioned the Jordans earlier. These are my newest Jordans. I do have a Jordan obsession now.
If I can find those in black.
Sadly, I don't think they come in black. But, Jose, I just want to say, man, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, my
thanks
pleasure.
for being a part of it. I know you're doing a lot of awesome stuff. And email address or anything like that if people want to reach out to you directly, do you have that? Do you want to give that?
I mean, you can find me on Messenger, or if you really want to message me, you can message me at Ibarra, which is my last name, IBARRA 541 at iCloud.com.
Nice.
Real simple.
Super simple.
Super simple.
Super simple.
I'm pretty generic when it comes to that.
Well, Jose, thank you for giving us an opportunity to feel like what it's to walk in your shoes today. As I always like to say, sometimes we need a different perspective as we walk in other people's shoes.
Yes, and next time I'll interview you.
That'll be fun.
Let's do it.
All right. Take care, man.
Thank
Thanks.
you.